Hi, and welcome to this video series about psoriasis. I'm really glad you entered your name and email address on the previous page so that you'll be able to watch these videos. Whether you've been recently diagnosed with psoriasis or you've been living with this skin condition for a while, I believe these videos will be informative for you. In this first video, I'll tell you about psoriasis and what causes this skin condition. I'll talk about what the symptoms are and who typically gets this disease. To begin, I'd like to discuss how psoriasis has personally affected me in my life. I don't suffer with this skin condition, and I've been very fortunate that I haven't had a problem with this disease as of yet. But growing up, my mother did suffer with this problem. And psoriasis affected not just her life, but everybody in my family's life because of the way my mother was embarrassed about her skin condition. She had plaque psoriasis. It was on her elbows and on her knees. And it was a condition that was pretty severe. She basically had buildup that was starting to look silvery and plaque-like on her elbows and knees pretty much through her entire life. And the things that I remember growing up is that we used to go into the drugstores, and every time we went into a drugstore, she would buy a new cream or a new lotion or something new to try and clear up her skin, and nothing ever seemed to work. I also remember as she got a little bit older and as technology advanced as well, she'd go to the doctor and try different types of topical prescription drugs and more intense treatments as well, and nothing really solved her problem. But it affected everyone because she was embarrassed by her skin condition, and that meant that she would go out in the warm summer months, and when we were on the beach, enjoying the sunlight and enjoying the water, she would be covered up. She would have long sleeves on and long pants, and I felt really bad for her because she should have been able to enjoy life, but instead she was embarrassed by her skin condition, and because of this, it changed my life in such a way that I wanted to become involved in the psoriasis community to see if there was anything I could do to improve people's lives that suffer with this skin condition. To get started, let's talk about what psoriasis is. Psoriasis is a fairly common disease. It's considered an inflammatory skin condition. It's identified by dry, scaly patches on the body itself. It's believed to be a genetic disease, and it's where the body's immune system is actually overproducing cells on the body. In a typical person, we naturally exfoliate, or our body naturally exfoliates the cells that have come to the top layer of our skin every 21 to 28 days. So what that means is a new healthy cell grows, it moves to the top layer of our skin, and in the 21 to 28 days, as it dies, it naturally falls off, and then the process starts all over again. In a person who is suffering with psoriasis, that time from the skin beginning to grow, or from the cells beginning to grow, to the time when it dies and falls off, shrinks down from 21 to 28 days to as short as 2 to 6 days. So the body never really has enough time for the skin cells to actually naturally be removed from the skin itself. So what ends up happening is those cells reproduce over and over and over again, causing a buildup of cells on the skin itself, which actually appears then looking like plaque on our skin, very dry and scaly. And that's exactly what psoriasis looks like on most people who have what's the most common type of psoriasis, which is called plaque psoriasis. The rapid buildup can appear silvery, as I said before, but it also may just be in someone who is not producing cells so quickly. It may start off in the beginning as just red, dry patches as well. So if you don't see those silver, flaky patches that I'm talking about, you still may have just the early conditions of psoriasis as well. I think it's important also for us to note that psoriasis is a pretty common disease in that 125 million people worldwide actually suffered with this disease. And there are actually 200,000 new cases diagnosed every single year. And it's even a much higher number than those numbers that I just said to you, because if you think about it, there are so many people walking around with just dry patches on their skin who have yet to be diagnosed and who are buying products at their drugstore and don't even know that they have this serious skin condition itself. So the people who have not been diagnosed and have not even been counted are not included in that 125 million people. So psoriasis is a pretty common disease. So now that I've given you a little bit of background about what psoriasis is, let's talk about what causes psoriasis. And I hate to say this, but the actual cause of psoriasis is really unknown. It's believed to be a genetic disease, but even if one of your parents has it and they pass the gene on to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to come down with psoriasis. And typically it is brought on by some type of traumatic experience in your life. So if the gene is there, and then some type of trauma to the body occurs, you have a much better chance of psoriasis actually occurring. And when I talk about trauma to the body, trauma can be something very serious, like a severe illness, or it could be severe stress, but it could also be something as simple as just severe sunburn, say, that can bring out the psoriasis. And what's bad about this disease is that once it's brought out, there's no turning back and it can't be reversed. There is no cure for this disease itself. But it's important to note that psoriasis is not a life-threatening disease. It's something that you can live with, and you can look healthy and feel healthy as long as you keep it under control. Probably wondering, well, who gets this disease and why did I get it at this time in my life? Well, psoriasis typically occurs between the ages of 11 and 45. But that age range is not a fixed age range, because we have found that children and babies have come down with psoriasis, and people over the age of 45 have also been diagnosed with psoriasis as well. And the important thing to remember is that it's what brings out the disease that determines the time, and not the genetics built into this. This disease does not discriminate by race. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, or any other ethnic background, we are all at risk to get this disease. Or a loved one currently have psoriasis, you don't have to worry about passing it on to someone else, because psoriasis is not a contagious disease. Even in its worst form, where you have open lesions and open wounds on your skin, even if someone were to touch that, it's not contagious in any way. As I mentioned before, there are lots of people walking around every single day who have yet to be diagnosed with psoriasis. So I'd like to discuss some of the symptoms that are associated with this disease, so that you can recognize when an outbreak occurs on your skin. Now, the typical and most common symptoms that you'll find is red, dry, flaky skin. And normally it appears on your elbows and your knees. That's probably the most common area. But it's not limited to just the elbows and knees. On the body, it can occur pretty much anywhere, whether it's on the trunk of your body. Many people will get it on their hands or their feet. Oftentimes, people will even get it on their scalp and on their face as well. So it can occur pretty much anywhere on the body, but the most common location is the elbows and the knees. Now, in addition to the redness and the dryness and the flakiness, some people may experience itching and irritation. Others may feel a more severe burning type sensation when they are getting a breakout. I also think that you'll see some individuals who will suffer with dry, cracked skin that may even bleed. Typically, this will occur on the hands and feet area or joint areas where you're bending those sections of your body, and the skin breaks and could bleed over time. Now, psoriasis, as I mentioned before, could cover just small patches, or it could cover a large area on your body. But a very, very common symptom, which not a lot of people know about this disease, is that symmetry tends to be associated with it. And when I say symmetry, it means that if you get it on one elbow, typically you're going to get it on the other elbow as well. So it's symmetric. If you get it on one elbow, it's on the other. If you get it on one knee, it's on the other knee as well. You might have it on this ear, and you might have it on this ear. So symmetry in this disease is very, very common. I'm going to conclude this video for now, and I hope you found it informative. You should now have a better understanding about psoriasis and the impact that it can have on your life. In the next video, I'll be discussing the different types of psoriasis. There are actually 5 types. It's important for you to learn which type you have so that you can understand how to deal with your skin condition. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Mike Marinick, and I'll see you in the next video.